So, this is a general reading for the collective. You will know if the reading resonates with you or not. So, let's see what wants to come out for whoever is watching this now. The law of gender. Embrace your divine masculine and divine feminine within. Within being your subconscious, the feminine, and then your conscious thoughts, the masculine, right? This is what this card is talking about. Not gender as far as male and female, the physical body. This is what's going on within your mind because the mind is very dualistic in nature. So, this card is telling me to tell you that you have not been impressing new beliefs into your subconscious mind. It seems that this infinite intelligence, right, that is within all of us, that operates through all of us, it is expansive in nature. But it seems that your life, whoever I'm talking to, has not been as expansive as you've been wanting it to be. But it seems like uh, the energy of that infinite intelligence or divine that is within you. It seems that your soul is getting quite bored with how you've been living life. Your soul wants to experience more, right? Because it seems that some of you have just been doing the same thing habitually over and over again, and there's no progress or expansion. So, this card is pretty much telling you that it's time to start figuring out how your subconscious mind works and to start kind of, with that knowledge, applying that knowledge. Some of you have not been doing that at all, and you are kind of wondering why things are not changing. Well, it seems that your subconscious only has the old impressions and belief systems and the old feelings to pretty much go off on. So that's all that you've been experiencing is just old stuff. And it seems that your soul is just getting really bored of that, right? Your soul and your physical body have to work together in some sense, because your physical body is still an expansion of all of the many different layers that you are, starting from the very top, divine awareness, whatever, and then going all the way down. So it seems that if you are wanting to have better experiences or a new lifestyle, is what this feels like for some of you. Like you want a new lifestyle, you're wanting to kind of manifest something very profound and different and grand and just a different experience. It seems you are being called to start, I guess, learning and seeking wisdom and knowledge about how your subconscious operates because that information is out there. It's everywhere. You can get it for free. PDF, Google, you can literally read some of these books for free on YouTube. You don't even have to pay for it, right? And if you want physical books, some of these books are very cheap. Trust me, I have many of them and I get them very cheap, on sale, right? So there is really no excuse. This card feels like you've been slacking in that and in developing your mind. That's what this feels like. You haven't been using the mind how it should be used, I guess that of a projector. Instead, it seems you've been letting the mind use you, which is an illusion in itself. So you've been kind of trapped a little bit in the illusion of the mind being the one in control, where you should be the one in control of the mind, right? Do you see what I mean? Because it seems that your subconscious is wanting new impressions and belief systems and experiences, that which you have not been doing, right? So it seems your life and I guess what you've been doing, it's starting to feel a little bit boring and redundant. And it's time for you to experience some new stuff. But that'll happen once you start impressing your subconscious with new feelings, you know what I mean? With new habits, right? So some of you are being called to kind of read more books and do more research on that because that stuff is out there and it seems that maybe you haven't been doing that enough, basically. Whoa. Wow. The law of mental equivalent. Use your imagination to create your dreams into reality. I'm gonna just say this. Read some Neville Goddard books, right? He talks a lot about this. Read, Think and Grow Rich. There are so many different books that you can be reading that are free PDF on Google that talk about this. But for the sake of this reading, your subconscious, it has no clue what is legitimately happening, right? So your subconscious operates with your imagination. And if you've, astral projected or remote viewed, whatever the case may be, then you would know that literally everything here is just a projection of the contents inside of, your consciousness, basically. And how things are projected is by using this feminine and masculine energies of the mind while also using your third eye, right? Your mind's eye, which is connected to your imagination. So some of you are being called to kind of develop that muscle, the third eye muscle, the mind's eye. That's what your third eye is just being able to see things that are not physical, right? To be able to use your imagination. That is connected to the mind's eye. And if these cards are coming out together, this is feeling like you have not been doing that. But at the same time, you've been complaining what it feels like about your circumstances, but you haven't been doing the internal work to change them. Whether that be studying, finding these books, reading these books, but not only just reading and studying, but applying this to your life. So this is why I love this deck so much. I love this deck because it really kind of gets down to the core and the root of things, right? This card is literally telling you your imagination and what you hold in your mind's eye, right? Your visualizations are wanting to be experienced through you. So this feels like a big sign for some of you. If you've been wondering, if your manifestations are happening, if they're going to play out, if your dreams are going to come true, I feel like they will once you start kind of implementing this into your life more often. Setting aside time to maybe study and read on, how to manifest however you want to, right? We're all different. Whatever works for you, to find, I guess, to find teachers and books and things of that sort, individuals who are, I guess, well versed and have a lot of knowledge in this, ones that resonate with you, and to start applying that, right? So that you can see some changes in your life, so that you can have better experiences, new experiences. This feels like new experiences are wanting to be lived out through you, to be experienced through you. Because doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, we know what that leads to and what that feels like. Feels like insanity, right? We know that quote. So if you want to see actual change, you must first start within your mind, because the mind is a projector and it is only projecting what you have been feeding it or telling it to project. And then we have the law of cosmic creation. Your thoughts will echo into eternity. Need I say more? Some of you, I feel like if you're watching this, is for all of you who are watching, right? If you're still watching this, you really need to change your thoughts and the things that you keep habitually repeating and imagining, right? So it's not just your thoughts, because thoughts do not manifest alone. It is the energy behind the thought that manifests, right? It is the feeling that you give the thought, which should be a great thing. If every thought manifested, oh boy, would we be in trouble, right? So it's not, it is the thought that you keep habitually feeling to be true. That is what manifests, not just thoughts, on their own. So your thoughts are not going to go anywhere unless you, I guess, intentionally want them to go somewhere, until you put your energy and willpower behind that thought and emotionality behind the thought. The emotion is what gets it going. So some of you have been kind of putting too much of your energy towards thoughts, right? With this card, your thoughts will echo. You've been putting too much of your energy, towards thoughts that you really don't want to manifest. And you're not switching up your habits. And then you're probably wondering why things are not happening because something's going on internally with you that needs more of your focus. Nothing external. This feels like an internal job, basically. Let's end this reading with one more. Wow. The law of action. Get out of your comfort zone and take bold action today. Exactly. Bold action. Because again, as I said in the beginning, it seems that there's something quite boring about maybe your life right now. I know that sounds harsh, but I just cannot sugarcoat. I don't really know how to sugarcoat. There's something a little bit boring about what you've been doing, how you've been living life. For some of you, this is financially, like your career. For others, maybe the people you have around you, the town. It just seems that you're wanting just brand new experience. Like you want something new to happen. But it seems that this is an internal job of learning about how your subconscious operates and then taking action on that knowledge, taking inspired action when you have, I guess, started impressing these new beliefs and feelings into your subconscious, and then the inspired action will just come afterwards, right? Because it seems that you are wanting this inspired action. It seems that the energy around you wants to kind of feel more exciting, more bold. So you're being called to kind of get out there too. Some of you, you could be feeling called to break, I guess, out of your routine. It seems like, instead of taking a left to work, take a right or to travel somewhere very random. That's what this feels like, to just do something very random, very exciting, very exhilarating, right? To get out of this rut, it seems, to switch up your habits, what you have been habitually thinking and feeling. This could even be with take bold action. Some of you, it seems like take the bold action into maybe imagining or visualizing that massive dream of yours. That's pretty bold because some individuals don't even want to think about that. They don't even want to imagine that because it's just too massive, right? It's too big and grand to dream about. But that could be the bold action as well, is to, see how it feels, to see what that would feel like to be living that dream of yours, right? To visualize that. What would life be like living that big dream of yours? That's what this feels like. But for others of you, it just seems like, doing something that is more exciting and exhilarating. I heard rock climbing. That's very random. And I see these rocks here, this brick, I don't know, rock climbing for some of you, or dancing, like a dancing class. Your soul is wanting to experience something brand new. It wants to experience something exhilarating and new, and a new lifestyle is what this feels like. It feels like your soul wants to experience a new lifestyle too. But the key is to study and figure out and gain some wisdom and knowledge of how your subconscious operates. This is an internal job, right? And then it'll manifest externally. So no more avoiding what's happening within your consciousness. That's very important. You have to go within, whoever I'm speaking to. You have to start going within more.